Hi, and welcome to iGameOver channel. In today's episode, we'll look at top 15 anticipated games that are set to release in 2016. And boy, what a year we gamers have ahead of us. Number 1. Mankind Divided. Now, this is the big one. The release date has been confirmed and is 23rd February 2016. Like in earlier games, Deus Ex is completely open. The decision you make during the game will affect what happens. The choices you make have consequences and the ending could be completely different, depending on how you play. Mankind Divided is set in 2029, 2 years after the previous game, Human Revolution. For those who are still unfamiliar with Deus Ex, all games are set in the future, on Earth, which is evolved into a dystopian cyberpunk society. Various organizations compete to have a complete overall control of the planet. Mankind Divided sees Adam Jensen's return, complete with new gadgets and even more body augmentation. You play Adam with the aim of bringing the end to a rise in terrorist attacks. The game is played from a first-person perspective with third-person views when taking cover. It uses the new Dawn engine, which is based on the Glacier 2 game engine used in Hitman Absolution. For me, personally, this is a big one and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Innocents have died as they play their game.
We will not sit idly by and allow our rights to be eroded out of fear and ignorance any longer.
It's happened again. Someone's pulled the rug out from under you. An empire at your feet, and you've lost it all. Be honest, did you really deserve any of it?
Number 2. Dishonored 2. All we know is its release date is in spring 2016. There is no actual date so far. Unlike in the first Dishonored game, there are two main characters to play as, Emily Kaldwin and Corvo Attano. Corvo Attano is the guard-turned-assassin we all remember, and Emily Kaldwin is a daughter of the late Empress Jessamine Kaldwin, who, you may remember, was assassinated at the beginning of the first Dishonored game, and Emily is Corvo's daughter too, incidentally. However, there's a twist. You choose who you want to play as early on, and that choice is set for the whole game. There is no switching in between missions with this game, and both characters will offer very different styles of gameplay. Emily fights with a little more finesse than Corvo does, whereas Corvo has very classic possession, Ratsworm, Blink. Emily has Far Reach, Shadow Walk, Mesmerize, these powers that nobody has heard of. With so much new and exciting, this one is a definite must to watch out for.
You cover your face, but I know who you are. Emily Kaldwin.
Number 3. Doom. Released in spring 2016. And this is a franchise no one has to introduce, but in case you have lived under a rock for the last 25 years or so, here's the gist of it. First-person shooter, badass demons, big guns and blood, gore, and moving really fast. There will be of course multiplayer. Game modes will include Domination, Freeze Tag, and Clan Arena, and you'll also be able to experience very unique power-ups in the multiplayer too. Keep your thirst for Alien Blood until this release, and you are sure to be satisfied.
Let me tell you a story of heroes. For there are those who believe the history of Albion is a history of heroes.
Number 4. Fable Legends. Now, this one is a unique one. Why? Well, firstly, Fable Legends will be cross-platform playable, so you will be able to play it across both your Xbox One and the Windows 10 PC. Secondly, it will be a multiplayer game. Differently from the previous single-player Fable versions, up to 5 people will be able to play the same storyline, which will have 4 versus 1 dynamic. 4 heroes will fight against one mischievous villain. You can also choose to play alone and decide to be accompanied by other AI-controlled heroes, or to take on an adventure alone. You're free to choose any of the 4 heroes available at time, embarking on adventurous researches and scientific flights through the occult land of the Albion, trying to avoid the obstacle devised by the villain. If you want to unload your hidden cruelty though, you can choose to be a bad guy, with the power to command many malicious characters and set up traps that prevent the good from triumphing. Fable Legends will be free to play on Windows 10 PCs and with gold on Xbox One.
Every hero must be tested. Every legend earned.
Number 5. Final Fantasy XV. It's supposed to be released somewhere in 2016. This installment of Final Fantasy is an open-world role-playing game that will appeal to lovers of Kingdom Hearts thanks to its action-based battle system. There is a variety of different weapons available to use, and you can drive a car or ride a chocobo to get around the environment that is completely free to roam as you please. There is also day and night system that cycles throughout the gameplay. One in-game day is 1 hour of playtime, and players will need to sleep in a hotel or by camping in order to maintain their combat strength. The monsters you will encounter change depending on in-game time of day, and there's also a weather system. Only one thing remains to do. I beg you, please release this game sooner. Number 6. For Honor. Release date somewhere in 2016, no one knows the details yet, but we'll watch out for it. For Honor is a medieval warfare game in which you play as a Viking, samurai or knight. Ubisoft have given each of these factions its own unique abilities and prospect. The Vikings, also known as Warborn, are fiery and aggressive. The samurais, also called Chosen, value combat, mystery, and the knights, also called legions, focus on control, thrust and parry. Ubisoft has tried something new in this game, whereby players use the controller's analog sticks rather than its buttons to control movements and actions in battle. This demands greater accuracy and gameplay in order for a player to be successful. During a battle, successful kills unlock new skills and abilities for a player to use. This is a new take on hand-on-hand combat, and one that will hopefully be as great as it looks. Number 7. Hitman. Although main game releases on the 8th of December this year, it will evolve and deepen over time. New locations, missions and hits will be released at regular intervals during 2016. This is a true Hitman fantasy, a highly challenging, thinking person's game where creativity is rewarded. You have a power and intelligence of Agent 47 at your fingertips, and it is your choice whether to use brute force or orchestrate a genuine masterpiece of assassination. Not much else is known at this point, but if other games within the franchise are anything to go by, we're in for a treat.
Identify yourself. Identity unknown. On your knees! On your knees now! Open it!
Number 8. Homefront. Homefront drops you into a world where the United States has been occupied for 4 years. You must lead the resistance movement in tactical guerrilla warfare against a superior North Korean military force. A living, breathing open world responds to your actions. You and your resistance can inspire a rebellion on the streets and be force that makes a critical difference in the war, turning occupation into revolution as oppressed civilians take up the fight. But your enemy has the advantage: superior technology, firepower, heavy armor and air support. You must learn the art of guerrilla warfare, ambush, sabotage, infiltration, deception, and fight a running battle through the war-ravaged suburbs of an occupied Philadelphia. This is an interesting, if not slightly ironic, to take on the story, and I am looking forward to play it.
We know we weren't the first ones here.
Number 9. Horizon Zero Dawn, set to release in 2016. The game is set 1000 years into the future and shows the robotic creatures have taken control and humans are no longer the dominant species on Earth. Most of the human species have been wiped out, with some still alive and living in small colonies and fighting to survive. In Horizon Zero Dawn, you play as a female protagonist, Aloy, a young outcast from her tribe. Aloy has learned how to hunt the creatures and sets on a quest that leads her to her destiny. Aloy's main weapon is a bow and arrow, and she carries 3 types of arrows that will help her defeat the creatures: electrical, explosive, and armor piercing. When Aloy runs out of ammo or needs a new weapon, she has a unique ability that allows her to create weapons with machine parts from the creatures along with natural materials found on Earth. This game looks fantastic and shows very much promise.
Place came new life.
Left the sun and moon behind. Galaxies waiting to be found.
Number 10. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is set to release in June 2016, and it is an incredibly cool looking sci-fi game that lets players explore and survive in an infinitely generated universe. Planets and solar systems will be built as you play, and each will be different to the next. There is no storyline to No Man's Sky. It is designed to be entertaining enough for players to do whatever they please, so everyone's experience of the game will be very different. For example, you could decide to become a trader that transports goods between planets and space stations, or you could become a fighter who attacks the trader ships, or you could make it your mission to rescue the traders who are under attack. The possibilities are pretty much endless. This is a great take on the likes of Elite Dangerous, but you can land on any planet. How cool is that? Number 11. Quantum Break. There is no release date yet, aside from 2016. It's an intriguing game with live action episodes that will play at the end of each segment of the game and will be personalized depending on the choices the player makes while playing. The storyline is centered around time, following a failed time travel experiment that occurred at the American University that causes time to become damaged and give the 3 main characters in the game the ability to manipulate it. We know so far that Jack Joyce can stop time, and Paul Serene can see into the future to help decide which choices should be made in the present. Developers have enlisted the help of a scientist in order to make the complex plot follow theoretical physics. This is perhaps my favorite on the whole list, and I can't wait to play it.
Hard way.
It's collapsing. Move it! Move! 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 Ah!
Number 12. ReCore. Release date is set for June 2016. ReCore is a new action-adventure game that follows the last few remaining humans on Earth and their friendly robot companions, who together hope to tackle obstacles and enemy robots in an effort to rebuild humanity. ReCore puts you in the shoes of Jules, a human survivor who is accompanied by her robot dog Mac. That is until a storm hits. ReCore will be a third-person, non-linear game, putting players in an open landscape that is affected by shifting sands. Much of the game is set in this desert-like scenery, but Jules can also go underground, where she faces even more dangerous robots than those above ground, but can also pick up items that may be of use to her in her struggle to survive this planet and rebuild humanity. A truly fresh breath of air on the gaming market. Number 13. Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V is set to release early in 2016. Graphically, Street Fighter V has toned down the cartoonish aspects of its predecessor, with more subtle color palette and beautifully animated backgrounds, all powered by the Unreal 4 engine. The battle systems has also been through some finessing, with Capcom walking the tricky path of simplifying the control system to make the game accessible for new players, while retaining the variety that hardened players demand. Not everything has been changed though, and while Ultra Combo attacks are now renamed as Critical Arts, the principle of the use remains the same. If you like fighting games, this one is sure to satisfy your thirst.
PlayStation.
It's a lot to take in, kid. Where do I even start? You've been out of the game for a long time. Maybe I need to remind you the kind of people we'd be crossing here.
Number 14. Uncharted 4. Release date 18th of March 2016. It's an upcoming third-person shooter that adds to the popular Uncharted series, following on from Uncharted 3, but set 3 years after the game ended. Drake is joined by his apparently not dead after all brother Sam as they attempt to solve a mystery involving pirates and, of course, hidden treasures. Graphically, Uncharted 4 looks truly amazing. Unique to Uncharted 4 multiplayer are sidekicks, who can help you in a fix, mysticals, which give players unique powers, and you will be able to leverage the grappling hook in a number of locations. Wow, what a game to be waiting for.
One last time.
We were always told it might come to this. That one day, everything we ever knew could end.
Number 15. Tom Clancy's The Division. Release date 8th of March 2016. Now this is the big one. Tom Clancy's The Division is one of the most talked about games right now. An open world multiplayer third-person tactical shooter, an action role-playing game, uses the Ubisoft's new Snowdrop engine designed for the new generation of consoles. The game is set in New York, where a devastating pandemic has swept through the city, causing basic services to fail and society to quickly collapse. The player is a part of the Division, a classified unit of self-supported tactical agents, which are trained to operate independently of command to prevent the fall of society. The Division will also come with a companion app for tablet users, which players will be able to use to support console gamers in real time. The game looks amazing. It will play even nicer, and it's a must-have in your collection.
But there is one thing we do know.
There cannot be any hope for tomorrow if we don't fight for today.
And with this, we wrap up our top 15 games to expect in 2016. Did you like it? If you did, don't forget to hit that like button because it really helps. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of the videos I'm releasing. Until the next video, have a nice day and take care.